All right, welcome to The Price is Steven. And today I am wearing a shirt from another fellow streamer, Simple D, who has an amazing store that we'll post a link to called A Swole New World if you want your shirts, stickers, merchandise of Swole Pokemon. But today's episode is about pro wrestling, and we are having a pro wrestling themed episode. I am a fan of pro wrestling. Sometimes it is really hard to say that out loud. That's one of those things I always tell people is like a third date fact. You don't mention that on the first 2 dates. Man, that audience laughter is so condescending.
I got new, more sarcastic ones.
Oh my god, I really gotta give you some sound effects of myself to fill those up with. All right.
Classic WWE piping in fan noise.
That's true. All right. So coming up first, we welcome our first guest. You can't see him. It's Seamus. Hi, Seamus.
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Hi.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Welcome to the show. How long have you been a wrestling fan?
I would say about 2016. I was into it like in the 90s when everybody was, and then I just fell off. And then I lived with Jacob, and we worked from home, and it would just be like, all we would do is just watch Raw and SmackDown and like old pay-per-views. Just because great thing to have on in the background when you were working.
Okay,
and then,
so
quickly just got hooked.
If you were a wrestler, what kind of weapon would you use?
Wait, what?
Like, what kind of? What'd you say, Jacob?
We were using your WWE Network password, Steven.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Seamus, if you were a wrestler, what kind of weapon would you use?
Oh, that's a good one.
Go with the classic chair.
I think I kind of want to say barbed wire bat. What was Mick Foley's named?
Cactus Jack had a barbed wire bat, but I don't remember if it had a name.
I think it was like Barbie.
Barbie.
That seems like a really low swing.
That's how we used it most of the time.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
coming up
better than
next,
an anvil that you just gently lower onto people's head.
That's true. Our next contestant just got released from the WWE today, as announced on Twitter. It is OJ. OJ, hi, welcome to the show.
Yeah, great. My life is over.
What's Charles Patterson doing in the Impact Zone?
Hi.
OJ, if you were a pro wrestler, what would your finishing move be called? Would you have a stage name, and would it be a pun off of that?
If I had a one related on myself, it would be definitely, it'd be called the Squeezer. And I just kind of like hug you a little bit too long.
Oh, you do that already.
I know.
I'm kidding. You're so good at that. I love that you are wearing orange today. Is that your go-to color with the OJ name, or do you try to avoid wearing orange because of that?
I let people figure it out for themselves. And you know what? A+ for Steven.
All right. Well, coming up next, it's Mr. Monday Night. Please welcome Jacob. Jacob, hi. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to return.
I
am a big wrestling fan. I'm such a big wrestling fan that I insisted that my high school graduation, they play Macho Man Randy Savage's entrance music as we graduate. I insisted on it.
That is that's deep cut.
Yeah.
Well, Jacob, why do they call you Mr. Monday Night? What are you up to on a Monday night, would you say?
I'm watching the Dungeons & Dragons stream right here on Super Trash TV. Just kidding. Never watched it.
Oh, burn.
That's usually when I watch Pose, because that's on Sunday.
Hit him with another boo for me, Ben. Can you please?
Yeah, bring it on.
If you're wondering why there's the booze, our producer behind the scene, our soundboard guy, Ben, is the DM for the amazing D&D stream he runs on Mondays on this same channel.
Yeah.
Wow, giving yourself...
Yeah.
So you have like an enthusiastic applause sound, and you didn't use it for any of the jokes I had. You just... Okay. All right. Great.
You know, Jacob has made a character for that D&D session, so that is even more insulting to hear, Jacob.
Yeah, I guess I'm never going to beat my druid.
All right. Oh, I should do a D&D episode with my D&D group.
That's
All
an
right.
idea.
Let's see. All right, so this is how the game works. You can ask me questions during the show. I may or may not answer them. Prices do not include shipping or taxes. And today's episode is going to be pretty much all wrestling themed stuff that I own or don't. You know, the last question is always tricky. Let's see. Before we get started, everyone gets one free question. And Seamus, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Wow, Ben, you got a couple of stands in the chat.
God, I had one, and then I immediately was like, I think I got a better one, and now I'm panicking. Okay. How much would you bribe somebody to get out of a battle royale, a la the $1 Million Man, to win like a gimmick battle royale?
How much would I pay to win the battle royale, or how much would I pay to not be in it? Because I'm not in battle royales right now.
If you were in a battle royale and you pull like say you're gonna pull the $1 Million Man, show up at the end, pay IRA to throw it for you, how much would you be willing to spend to win a nonsense title? That
I would say however much $100 can buy me in fake dollars. Like I would spend $100 worth of fake prop money and pay that much to get that title. And all right, moving on. OJ, what's your question for me?
How's your day?
Oh man, it's been all right, you know. Ooh,
good question. Good question.
Great soundboard. We can do a whole sitcom with that. It's been all right. I am trying to eat healthier, so I've been eating more oatmeal, but it's like plain oatmeal and it doesn't taste very good, so I've been adding cereal to it, and that's not great, but it's like a little better. And then I realized this felt like a really big metaphor for how I approach lots of things. It's not great, but it's a little better, and that's what I shoot for.
Respect. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. Jacob, your turn. One question.
I have thought about this. So, Stephen, you are an adult man who grew up in the 90s with brothers.
Yes.
So I know that you guys were doing wrestling moves on each other.
Yes.
What sort of rambunctious wrestling activity was Stephen Koo getting up to with his siblings?
Let's see. I think our go-to moves was my brother, being bigger than me, would do the Brock Lesnar F5 move all the time. Because that's really fun to just take a kid and whip them on a bed or a sofa or whatever. Being smaller, that meant that I couldn't do like throwing moves, so I'd do like moves like the Walls of Jericho or like the Crippler Crossface or whatever, submission moves, because that's all I can muster, and it won't hurt him that bad because I'm tiny. So
leave that there.
Yeah. Simple D says that we should do a Steven Matters show in the chat, and I agree. Let's just do another night where we just talk our way as if we're in a sitcom, TGIF style, with no script, and see how that goes. See, Voltaire, you're right. I am a black belt, but we've said this in the first episode. Taekwondo is a kicking sport, so it's not very good at any of that. None of the things I've learned in Taekwondo, I think, work in pro wrestling, unfortunately. How many sound effects do you have? That's amazing.
Happening.
All right.
I'm worried.
All right, let's move on to our first question of the night. I like glasses. You might see that I have these glasses, but I've got some other glasses. I'm not talking about corrected vision. I'm talking about a Stephen Koo Drunken purchase.
Yes.
Welcome to a Stephen Koo Drunken purchase. And today, let's see what you can see and how much you're willing to pay for it. Seamus, love the helmet.
Thank you. This was a Stephen Koo inspired Drunken purchase.
Yes, we gotta play Star Wars over video chat with both of our helmets on.
Oh, absolutely. That's the reason I bought it.
All right. So the
I
first
also can't
question.
see out of this. So.
Oh, you're gonna need to see this. These are sunglasses done in the style of Macho Man Randy Savage, as you mentioned before, Jacob. And the question I have for you guys today is: did I pay $16 or $61 for these glasses? And Seamus, you are up first.
Okay, right off the bat, is this a WWE shop purchase?
It is not.
So some off-brand Macho Man Randy Savage glasses. Do you have them on you?
I do have them on me. Give me 1 second.
All
I
right.
don't have them on me.
Well, I can see he doesn't have them on him, obviously.
Here we go.
Okay.
Right. Whoa.
Be careful.
Green Macho Man. Interesting.
Okay.
Not one of his
Okay.
more celebrated colors.
What's the brand that we got going on here?
Custom made on Etsy.
Custom made on Etsy. Okay.
Ooh.
Put them on top of the glasses I have.
Yeah, please.
Wow.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, so what's happening is these lights are bouncing off of the sunglasses into my eyes. So now I see nothing.
Well, isn't that how Cyclops got his powers?
Yeah. All right, so Seamus, pick a number, 16 or 61.
Yeah, we could say it in chat. I think I kind of like my heart is like this. I'm gonna be dumb because I want to say 61, but I feel like the beauty of Etsy is finding cool shit that's only like $15. So I'm gonna say $16.
All right, your guess is 16. OJ, tell us what you're thinking.
All right. So, can we ask what the material is? Is it plastic?
I don't know materials, man. I have an English degree.
Is it like ceramic?
It's like sunglasses stuff.
If you had to guess, Mr. English degree, what physical matter is on your face right now?
Something made in a lab is what I'll say.
Yo, if he says ivory, I'm changing my answer.
He could have.
I guess blood diamonds is what I think they're made of.
I would say that to echo, Etsy is pretty cool for good deals, weird good deals for rare stuff. So I'm gonna say $16.
All right, Jacob, tell us what you're thinking.
Yeah, I mean, Steven, you're a fan of cosplay, you're a fan of silly bits, you're a fan of wrestling, but I also know you're not a fan of spending $61 on glasses you'll basically just wear in your own house. Maybe a helmet, maybe another costume, but for these particular glasses of a wrestler that isn't even one year like top 5 of all time. Like I remember when Elias first showed up on the scene, you were like, he reminds me too much of Randy Savage. You don't love Randy Savage that much. I can't imagine you.
That's true. I don't like Randy Savage. I love Bonesaw McGraw. That's what
Sure.
I'm
if they were patented Bonesaw glasses, I would be surprised if they would ever be on sale for as low as $61. I think they would have to be much more expensive. So again, not to piggyback on everybody else, but I'm also saying $16. $61 is insane. It's got to be $16.
All right. And we have people in the chat saying they really hope that I didn't pay $61 for it. And the answer is $16. You reason won today in the wrestling episode.
We all did it.
All right.
Just because you mentioned Bonesaw, I do have a question for you, Steven. Those are very cute glasses. Did your husband make them for you?
Oh,
Spider-Man. You can't say that anymore.
Time to cancel Spider-Man.
All right.
The human spider.
No,
Now let's move on to some more wrestling merchandise. Next up, our category is a Stephen Koo Drunken merch.
My favorite.
Let me tell you, I don't really buy wrestling things sober. That's not really what I do. Now, a popular wrestler is The Undertaker. If you don't know The Undertaker, his thing is that he's an undertaker, which is like, I guess, from what I gather, because I didn't know what an undertaker was before, an undertaker is someone who wears a very long coat, a cowboy hat of some sort, and has dark wizard powers. That's what undertakers do. So, if a loved one has passed away, that's what you need at a funeral. And the Undertaker has, the Undertaker's got his own fair share of merch, and this might be one of them. Say you have an Undertaker action figure. Well, what's the Undertaker action figure going to do? He's going to have to undertake something, and this is something he could undertake. A tiny coffin for action figures.
Yes.
This coffin, for scale, that's a little Lego figure next to it. And this is the size of the coffin. Look, it's about like the length of my head. And you can put little action figures inside it. I've gotten it for the intense purpose of throwing funerals for random things when they get discontinued. Like goodbye Pepsi Blue, you weren't that missed, but someone should honor it.
F in the chat.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Going off first, we're going in reverse order. Jacob, tell me how much did I buy this? This is a coffin for action figures.
I mean, like
does it seem like something?
Yeah, like you said, you're using it for funerals for fictional things. I think that you saw this. I mean, fortunately, we don't have to say how much you paid for it because I bet you paid more than you should have. But yeah, I think that you saw this. You were like, "There's lots of dumb, silly bits I could do with this." Yeah, I definitely think you bought it.
And addressing the questions in the chat, was it a drunken purchase? I just thought I'd put that as every category for a wrestling episode.
Oh, okay.
I just thought that'd be funny. So, all right. OJ, tell us what you're thinking.
So, as a Jax collector myself,
oh my god, okay.
As a child, send away for it in the mail. I know that while Undertaker was very popular, Toys R Us wasn't cool with keeping coffins just in its shelves. So you had to order outside of that paradigm, and I'd imagine it's still the same now. So I couldn't imagine someone like impulse buying this for you. And then ultimately, I think you're a really sentimental guy, and you have a big heart, and you really appreciate the times you've had with your possessions, including toys that are no longer with us. So I'm going to say that as a bit, but also for realsies that you bought it.
All right. Ben, I gotta give you a shout out for the amazing use of the audience awe. I'm telling you guys, we gotta do a sitcom show of some kind. All right. All right, Seamus.
Taekwondo's a kicking sport. I'm doing my
let's just read the script they read on the Friends reunion.
Table reading of the Friends reunion.
Dibs on Phoebe. I called it.
Yo, you son of a bitch, you beat me.
All right, Seamus, tell us what you're thinking.
Well, the first thing I want to ask is that Lego minifigure, is that Paul Bearer, or is that just
that's a Dracula?
Okay.
I know the proper term is like a vampire, but that's a Dracula.
The proper term is a gangrel, but yes.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, look at Trivia Master Jacob here.
All right, so tell us what you're thinking, Seamus. Did I buy this
I think
head-sized coffin?
Yeah, this is the Ben show.
Yeah.
I'm kind of conflicted because I agree basically with what OJ said, which is that I think this is like Toys R Us definitely had like an anti-coffin policy, so I don't really imagine you walking into a Target. Although I will say it's not totally anti-coffin. If that coffin's a car, they sell like 100 of it. Yeah, Fast Fangs.
You know, you told me that, OJ, and I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, Toys R Us wouldn't carry a coffin, but Kmart would. But at the same time, I also agree with Jacob that it seems like something that you came up with for a bit, and so that could be an easy drunken purchase where you're like, this bit's gonna be great, you buy it. But I also know that occasionally you have like told your bit ideas to people and then forgot about it, and then somebody's like, hey, I remembered that. That's a good gift. Let me get it for Steven. However, I don't think that's the case in this instance. And it's not really anything about you. It's just about people. I feel like gifting somebody a mini coffin is a weird move.
Yeah.
So it's really just, I'm saying that you did buy this because I hope there are more progressive people more positive people in your life who aren't gifting you coffins.
Here you go.
Someone gifted me mac and cheese candy. So
actually, you're right. He could have just gifted you a coffin and got it out of the way.
All right. Well, let's see. The answer is yes, I definitely bought a coffin. I think the interesting thing is I haven't taken any photos of a bit with it yet. I did one for like a game that got like discontinued that I was working on once. And I sent it as a work email, but otherwise, no. I haven't. I got it. I thought I'd get more miles out of it, but it turns out I don't really get many miles out of it.
Most people have buyer's remorse about coffins. You're not alone.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We're moving into a Stephen Koo drunken purchase.
My favorite.
Let's see. Okay. What am I looking at here? Oh, okay. You know me.
Hey, Steven, could you acknowledge the chat real quick?
Yes.
Oh, what about the chat? Let's see. Whoever gives mac and cheese candy is just wishing both diabetes and heart disease on you at the same time.
Hey, Steven,
Jacob,
who gave you
playing the long
that
game.
mac and cheese?
Yeah, Jacob. Hey, you remember? Did you even try that mac and cheese, or you just give it to me to see what happens?
No, I saw it online, and I thought the little dancing noodle, that's how you dance. And I
I have it right here, just in case people are wondering.
That's how Steven dances.
Steven, can you show us some noodle dancing?
How dare I feel attacked? How dare you and people in the chat agree that's how I dance?
Jesus Christ, coming off the top rope.
Okay, all right. So, there's something that I like to do. I do like the pageantry of wrestling, and I do think like having like tag team belts is fun. I think what I like to do is when I play video games at my place, whenever a team's winning at my place, they have to start wearing the belts. So they have to start wearing the tag team belts while they are playing if they're the current champions, so everyone knows who to aim for. And this is a pair of WWE Kids plastic tag team champion belts. These are the ones I make people at my place wear when they're winning at any video games we're playing. But this is a guess for how much did I pay for these. So, Seamus, you're up first. Closest without going over.
Oh my god. Okay, so this is just blind guess. Okay, so these are, what iteration of the tag belts are these?
Whenever they were bronze, so before the SmackDown Raw blue red thing.
Okay, so before brand split. How long have you had these?
I have no idea. I have this past year has made it so hard to perceive time. I have no idea.
Are you drinking blood right now, Steven?
Speaking of Grand Grill.
Ben, do you have the Brood's entrance music queued up?
The panic on Ben's face.
It's not even a good song. Don't cue that up.
It kind of slaps.
Yeah.
Are there any wrestling fans in the chat? Like literally any who get these references?
I mean, I'm technically, I'm in the chat.
So am I.
So tell us what you're thinking, Seamus.
I was gonna say, are these because you this is a fun fact for Trash TV, is when we do our live events, we hand out a belt and then take it back because we only have one and don't want to get another one. We have children's championship tag belts. East Coast has Raw, West Coast has SmackDown, and Steven made them, so they have our logo on them and everything. I would pull up the one I have buried somewhere, but I just said buried somewhere and I don't want to find it. So I'm wondering, are they similar material? Because those are kind of...
Yeah, okay. I believe they're the same kind.
And did you buy them separately, or do they come as the pair?
You gotta buy them individually.
Gotta buy them individually. So am I guessing for one or both?
Both.
Okay, so my guess is... okay. I am going to go with $30. I think these come out to about $15 each.
All right. $30 is the guess. OJ, your turn.
My only real question outside of time is were there other belts there on the rack when you bought this? Oh, thanks for the sub, Gojira.
Oh, Gojira, thank you for the sub. Yes, I did. Oh, these people are all part of the Super Trash TV channel, and they all drink when the sub happens. So I guess gotta live up to the name.
To Gojira.
But yes, because I have other belts. Like for the tag champions, they wear that when they're playing video games at my place, and then there's an individual champion, and I have other belts for other nonsensical moments. Again, I do bits in real life, not for anyone on stage, but just for myself.
Okay. I'm gonna say because of the makeup of the belt, because it's kind of retro, It feels like a real good clearance buy situation. So I'm going to underbid Jacob in the worst of ways. I'm going to say $29.99.
Ooh, we finally got a Price is Right tactic on the Price is Steven.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out as the producer, Jacob is not Seamus. I've known this for quite a long time now.
Sorry. All right.
Yeah, he's like 5 inches taller than me, man.
Yeah,
Well,
literally the only difference.
Well, Jacob, it's your turn. Time to make a guess.
Okay, so you purchased them separately. We're saying the total price. May I ask what store these were acquired from?
No, but also to address Gojiro's question, if I did win it in a Mortal Kombat against a Mortal Kombat style battle and against a dollar store employee, it would count as $0 for this game. We've had this question on a different episode where it turned out to be $0 because I found it on the street. So it can go anywhere on these sorts of things.
Okay, so I mean, we got a guess of $30. We got a guess of $29.99. But it's close as without going over. So if I say $1, then I'm all the way in between 1 and $29.99, right? And that leaves
that's a strategy.
That leaves OJ with that 1 penny sliver, and then Seamus with everything else.
I really want OJ to win with that 1 penny. I'm just saying, I'm rooting against myself now.
Or I could say $31 or $30.01, and I have everything ahead of that.
Elixir Zeus brings up a good question. What if someone gifted me one half of a tag team belt and then I bought the other half?
I
don't know.
That's another completely possible thing that could happen, which would have made it. I think that would have made it cheaper than 30 then.
Yeah.
Especially if you if you bought them separately, for all we know, they cost different amounts.
Yeah.
Did we ask? Did you buy them at the same time? Is that legit to ask?
They were not acquired at the same time. And Jambe, you're right. Someone could say 0.
Okay. In that case, I think that they cost less than 30. I think that you got one of them maybe at full price, maybe at 15, and the other one marked down. So I'm going to say $1 to cover everything between me and OJ.
Okay. The answer is I did end up buying these at full price both times at $16.99. So the answer was $33.98. If you look at them,
nicely done.
like if you look at them in that picture, how the one on the bottom seems to be darker, that's not just the lighting. They actually are that darker because the plastic they used changed between the time I bought them. So it's a mismatched pair of tag team belts. Anyways, we are now coming down to our final game. We play the same game every time. He's 33. He lives alone, but does Steven own it? And this is a special wrestling edition. As you guys know, I like to collect stupid toys. Something you might not know is I don't have enough wall space to display all of my stupid toys. So this question is this one of the stupid toys that I own that maybe you haven't seen when you've been around my place? Because there are quite a few in my closet. The Ghostbusters, if The Rock was a part of it, is an official action figure series released by Mattel. Have you ever wanted to see The Rock as a Ghostbuster? Well, here it is. And fun fact, that jumpsuit he's got is made out of cloth and is removable so that he can be fighting ghosts in just his regular wrestling attire, which is, pretty much underwear. So.
Oh, it even says Rock. That's cute.
Yeah. All right. So, the question is, do I own this? Do I own a Ghostbusters The Rock as a Ghostbuster action figure? And yes, the jumpsuit is sleeveless and it's a torn sleeve pattern, I believe, on its edge. So, Seamus, you're up first.
Oh boy. This is everything I know about you would be like, yeah, Steven probably bought this. However, I feel like this could be like the meme from the Fairly Odd Parents where he's like, and here's where I'd put my trophy if I had one. I feel like this is also just building up to you telling everybody what they can get you for your belated birthday present.
There's a couple of toys on my list of ones that I want to have but haven't been able to find or have oddly skyrocketed in price.
Well, this is the Elite Collection's like the current WWE action figure branding, right? So this is like a new one.
I don't know. I don't I don't really collect WWE action figures. This is telling everyone in the chat, don't give me WWE action figures. I can't do anything with them. I'll put them in a coffin. I got nothing. It brings me no joy to have an opened action figure. If you're gonna get me one that's very interesting or dumb, but don't get me just a regular person.
Does I have so many more questions too, because like, is this part of a set? Are there 3 other Ghostbuster wrestlers?
There are 4 other Ghostbuster wrestlers. There's Stone Cold, there's John Cena, there's the Undertaker as a ghost that they are busting, and then there's HBK as yeah, it's great because they gave him his little baseball cap to hide that he's balding. So
They didn't even have it just be classic Shawn Michaels. Like,
yeah.
No, it's got to be the current age. He's probably Bill Murray.
Magical Potato brings up a great point. Why was John Cena not the ghost? That seems like a given.
Yeah, I mean, you can't see John Cena, but the Undertaker is the dead man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but ghosts aren't dead.
What?
You know, that's a philosophical question for another day.
They're walking around. How can they be dead if they're walking around?
Ghosts are dead. Zombies are dead. Vampires are dead. How are Never mind.
On the long enough timeline, we're all dead.
Okay, Dr. Manhattan.
Okay, look, I mean, now that I know there's other ones, I almost feel like I'm being tricked and you actually just only have like Stone Cold. But just for you, and I feel like this is kind of like half the time people are doing this question. I want you to have this. I want you to have this more than I want you to have hammers, and I sent you hammers.
All right. Seamus is a yes.
So I'm saying yes.
Okay. OJ, tell us what you're thinking.
I'm thinking, way too much about the cloth. And you also know way too much about what you could probably not have, but like look on the back. I couldn't imagine you like looking these stuff like on Amazon. You would have to look on the back to know that there's all these different versions of the Ghostbusters as wrestlers. But ultimately, I don't think you have this one.
Interesting. All right. So that's a no from OJ. And Jacob, your turn.
Yeah, this is a tricky one because both gentlemen so far have made very compelling points, and I don't know. Like, I know that you like wrestling and you like the Ghostbusters. I don't know that The Rock is one of your guys, though. I feel like you're not as big of a Rock. I feel like if you were to, of those ones that you just said, if you were to have bought anyone, you probably would have bought the Undertaker one because it's Ghost Undertaker, and that's the funniest. But that's not as. This is.
I'm not sure if that's the funniest because it is just a translucent purple Undertaker, and as we all know, the Undertaker's not dead because he's a ghost. So he is dead. That's like an entire episode onto itself.
I mean, maybe balding HBK sounds like the funniest one.
Yeah, that is the funniest one, especially if you take his hat off. It's just like,
you can't take his hat off.
Saudi Arabia.
It's not removable.
Oh, you can't. Oh, it's glued on.
Yeah,
should have stayed on.
Is it a cowboy hat or the like camo hats he's always wearing on NXT?
I forget. I want to say it was like the camo hat, like a baseball cap. But he's wearing that really awkward like shirt that's not connected. So is it even a shirt?
Oh, it's like they cut out the sides and the sleeves. So
yeah. The thing where you cut
a hole
out
in
the
a
side.
towel.
Yeah, it's like a poncho thing.
It's male stripper Ghostbuster costume.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna say no. You don't own this. I don't know. I have a weird feeling like this isn't something that you would buy for yourself, and it's also not something that it's not funny enough to be a stupid toy. And not stupid enough to be a fun toy.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. All right. Well, the answer is no, but I did buy it as a present for my brother, who's a fan of Ghostbusters.
Yes.
I bought it as a present to troll my brother because I was like, hey, you like the Ghostbusters? I got you this Ghostbusters action figure. It's The Rock as a Ghostbuster. But all right, so we've got 2 winners, which means I'll have to figure out how to make 2 of these, which is going to be really hard because I really thought there'd just be 1 winner today. And today's prize is very special. Today's prize is a Stephen Koo wrestling belt that says Stephen Champion.
Thank you. Oh my goodness!
It's got a cool S.
It's got the Stussy.
Yeah.
And the money sign.
It's a piece of cardboard with 3 pieces of gold paper taped and Sharpie. So I'll have to figure out a way to maybe I'll just cut it in half and mail both of you a half.
like they cut the women's championship in half in the 2000s.
Oh yeah, and then you guys will have to figure it out from there. But
me and
thank
Jacob
you so
are
much.
basically roommates, so we'll just we'll split custody.
We've lived in the same city for 6 months, but have yet to
Freebird it. You gotta
just
freebird it.
Just real quick, I'm just going to transition to a different scene, so we can show everyone these Ghostbusters wrestlers.
Oh,
I found
I
them.
found a picture of the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
wrestlers.
Oh my god!
Oh, these are beautiful.
Yeah, the whole set's
busting makes me feel good.
$79.99. So there you
Steven,
go.
that's upsetting.
Wait, go back to
Yeah. See, that's just it. It's like, I think this might be stupid enough for me to own, but it was funnier to give it to someone else who's a big fan of Ghostbusters. Like, I should stock more of these and be like, oh, I heard you're a fan of Ghostbusters. And I know you don't know anything about wrestling. Here's... Anyways, before we get out of here, plugs. Seamus, anything you want to plug?
Well, tomorrow night on this very channel, you can watch Jesse McGrath and I. We're doing a playthrough of Resident Evil Village. This is a tradition that dated back to when Jesse and I lived together. Is every time a new Resident Evil's come out, him and I have done a playthrough together. Even though he's on the West Coast, so it's really just him playing, and I just watch and offer moral support. But it's a lot of fun. We do it kind of early on the West Coast time, so it starts around like 4, but we do it for like 2 or 3 hours. That's tomorrow. Monday, we have the D&D stream that we were talking about, run by the magnificent Ben Spoon. It's getting real good.
Oh my god. I could hear you make it louder.
If you like the soundboard, he uses it a lot during the game. He also does voice modulation for whenever we encounter monsters who need that. Other than that, I mean, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, which I think is in the chat now. I also need a job, so if you look me up on LinkedIn, that'd be dope. And also, and everybody who's in this video, the 4 of us, we did in anticipation of WrestleMania, we made a video for Trash TV where we talked about who was our favorite wrestler, like what were our expectations for WrestleMania, and what would like our gimmicks be, things like that. And that link's now in the chat. You should check it out. It's really funny. I was really proud of that one.
All right, cool. OJ, anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'm writing a book about San Francisco comedy, from like Charlie Chaplin to the pandemic or whatever. It's not a big deal, but it is a big deal because it costs money to license some famous photos of Lenny Bruce and stuff. So if you have a $5 or a $10 or $100, please go to that link that I just put for our GoFundMe so that we can do this right.
All right. And Jacob, anything you want to plug?
Yes, Buddha Goose. We haven't put up a new episode in a little while, but it's a podcast that I do with my wife where we talk about the origins of British slang terms and some American slang terms. It's really fun and cute and silly. And also, Steven and I made a game that is about wrestling. And if you'd like to buy that game, I have a copy of it right here. You can buy this game. It is available on DriveThru. This is the wrong game. This is the Teddy board game that I got today.
Stop everything and explain everything.
So this is so I had my first in-person gaming day since the pandemic, and my friend busted out this that he bought as a joke at Target. It's a cooperative game where you play cards that represent different saxophone sounds to string together a solo to help Kenny G play through his day. There's a morning phase, an afternoon phase, and an evening phase.
Whoa.
We played it, and as soon as we played it, he decided it was so much fun he couldn't have it in his house anymore, and he gave it to me.
Aww.
If it's on Tabletop Simulator, it will be streamed on Super Trash TV at some point. It's ridiculous. The cards literally say Skiddly and Bop and D and Do. You have to like, all right, this one, to do this mission, you need to play Skiddly Bop, Skiddly Do. But you have to play them in order, and you have to, and it's fantastic. This is Hood Slam, the card game. It is available on DriveThru Cards, featuring artwork, photographs from Hood Slam, the Accidental Phenomenon, Oakland's best pro wrestling show. It's been on hiatus since the pandemic, obviously, but it will be back in some form or another. But if you miss Hood Slam and you want to play a card game, this is that card game. The link is in the chat. It's the best.
That got lewd.
Wrestling team deck
See
building game.
volatile. I see that message. All
Rapid
right.
fire.
See
Kenny G
volatile
spot.
wrote Kenny G spot.
I'm also saying the question, Kenny G plays all day. I recommend follow Kenny G on Twitter. Great follow, and he absolutely does. His entire Twitter is just him posing in front of things with his sax and just making saxophone puns.
I
It's
assume that's how he
amazing.
breathes.
No, he makes one sax in this whole game. He makes one saxophone pun. It's that sax sounds like sex, and that's it.
All right.
That's it.
Okay, and for me, the only plug I've got is we're always here every week, but this amazing shirt that I'm wearing, you can find at my fellow streamer Simple D's store, which I will, I guess, mention in the chat. A Swole New World. Have you ever looked at a Pokemon and said, I wish it had a million more muscles? That's what you get when you go to A Swole New World. So go check that out, and we'll be back next week. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great time, and we'll be back.